That is the one.
Yeah, here it's to the right.
I, please raise your right hand.
I, Bruce Williams,
Do swear or
affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws
and
thereof,
support the Constitution and the laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of mayor
execute the office of mayor
according to the Constitution and laws of this state
according to the Constitution and laws of this state
and the laws of the city of Tacoma Park.
and the laws of the city of Tacoma Park.
Congratulations. City and state of your address. Okay, that's all I need. You want me to sign any more of those? Oh, these are, okay, this is another one for you. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
And thank you to Brenda Millette, who's the Deputy Clerk of the Circuit Court for Montgomery County.
You're quite
Thank you.
welcome. Congratulations.
Okay, now, if the new council wants to come forward. All over this way. All right. I will administer the oath of office, and you'll each state your individual names when we get to that part. So if you want to raise a hand. I state your name.
I, Mary Stephen,
Do swear or affirm.
do swear and affirm
You pick one. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
And that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof.
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
And that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of council member, Ward,
execute the office of council member Ward 6,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state
according to the Constitution and laws of the state,
and the laws of the city of Tacoma Park.
and the laws of the city of Tacoma Park.
You're sworn in. Now, we need to sign these. I will work on one, somebody else can work on another one. get to do two. Tim, you're next. Okay.
What comes next?
Terry.
Beauty before age.
Should I sign you? Yeah.
Wait, shoot.
Okay. We now go back here.
Find us.
Let's sit next to you.
Do we need to do a photo op with all of us standing up there? Yes, let's go back out there. I just got to read the Go back here? Back here.
Switch chairs quickly and do it later. Yours is accustomed to lower.
Oh, I know what this is. And just in case you're wondering what's here, it's your agenda packet for next week.
Is that it?
With your roll call of the new council.
Here, pass this down. Got two of them.
All right.
Pick this up on this day.
So I now call the new council to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Williams.
I'm here.
Councilmember Grimes.
Here.
Councilmember Mail.
Here.
Councilmember Daniels Cohen. Here. Councilmember Siemens.
Present?
Councilmember Snipper. Councilmember Schultz.
Here.
Okay, the first thing is, there's a proclamation by me naming Councilmember Snipper as Mayor Pro Tem. And are there any remarks by the new council? Anybody want to press a button? Councilmember Grimes.
Thank you, Mayor Williams.
The departing council members and the ones who are staying on pretty uniformly recognize the honor and privilege of serving on the Tacoma Park City Council, and I do also. I'm very grateful in particular for the confidence placed in me by Ward 1 voters, and with all respect to Josh Wright and to his predecessors, including Joy Austin Lane and Larry Rubin in my time in Tacoma Park, I aim to be Ward 1's best council representative ever. I'm very appreciative of everything that council members, staff, and community members have taught me about local government, about the way to get things done here in Tacoma Park, also, for that matter, about ways not to get things done. I had originally thought I would recognize individuals in this room, but there are just so many of you who fit into that category of contributing community members that I will skip doing that and just say thank you for all that you've taught me, and I recognize how much I have to learn in order to be an effective council member. And lastly, I want to thank my family, Franca, Ezra, and Rathal, who are here this evening, for their love and support that has enabled me to take on council service.
Councilmember Daniels-Cohen.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Williams. Yikes. I knew that was going to be the first word. First, I want to thank outgoing council member Dan Robinson for his 2 terms representing Ward 3 and his continued activist activity on behalf of the city of Tacoma Park. I also want to thank Josh Wright and Colleen Clay for their hard work and support of our local government over the years. All 3 will be missed. I also want to thank Mike Groh and Jeffrey Noel Nussbaum for their contributions to an exciting three-way campaign debate and experience. I think this was, I don't know if there's ever been a 3-way one before, but this one was really interesting and fun. Now, the rest is going to sound a bit like a speech having won an Oscar, because it's sort of the way that it feels. I just thought we'd have a nominating caucus, and then we'd have a campaign, and then we'd have an election, and everything would feel and would be the same after. But that's not the case at all. I am totally humbled by the entire experience from the beginning to all the listening of all the departing council members and the incumbents as well. I'm humbled by the support of Ward 3 constituents who made contributions from dollars to signs in their yards to lit dropping. My youngest lit dropper was 5 years old, and my oldest was 72. I'm humbled by the comments that I heard from so many of you on my door-knocking road. It was a road that I had to be shoved down, but I still did it. And I thank each of you for your support and all of your suggestions and comments. I'm humbled by the huge support from my friends and neighbors on Sherman Avenue and Carroll Avenue, and the many friends from outside the city limits of Tacoma Park. I'm also humbled by the support and kindness of Jack Cohen, who from the very beginnings of this said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And he's not saying that now, so I appreciate him and care for him, and also my brother Buddy, who also said, don't do it. It was a constant mantra in my house. You can tell I kind of ignored all that. I'm humbled by the work that was put in by what I call the dream team, and this is not an Olympic basketball team. These are folks from Ward 3. Linda Colco, Jeff Trunzo, Michelle Morgan, Claire Garman, Jack Cohen, the famous, or is that infamous Buddy Daniels, Howard Cohn, Diana Cohn, Michael Hoffman, and Herman Goodyear. All of these were the wind beneath my wings, and none of this would have ever happened without their constant care and support with ideas, editing, artwork, lit dropping, plus so much more. Huge and major gold stars to each of them for contributions above and beyond the call of duty. I'm usually a moving target. I'm not easy to control, but these folks were willing and able to get the job done. I'm also now honored to have the opportunity to team up with our elegant mayor, incumbent and new council members, the city staff, and the Ward 3 constituents who to continue this business of democracy in action, and on to the next rather exciting leg of this journey. Thank you all.
Councilmember Mann.
Thanks. I'm really excited to be here, too. My 10-year-old daughter's here, my 4-year-old son is not, and I was explaining to him that I had a meeting tonight, and he said, "Daddy, but I thought you won the campaign." And we'll still be working on that conversation for a while, I think, especially thinking about Colleen's remarks and Josh's remarks. It's been a fantastic experience. I've spent 12 weeks through a campaign visiting as many houses as possible, talking to hundreds and hundreds of people. And as Kay said, it was really a humbling experience to hear about people's lives, to hear about what they are most concerned about or most excited about in Tacoma Park. And I'll just end very simply by saying I'm really excited to be working on those issues for them, to be working with this council and the city staff to try to make some of those things happen. So thank you.
Councilmember Schultz.
In an ideal world, elections would be held without having any competition, and you could just sort of walk through the whole process. But unfortunately, democracy doesn't quite work that way. And again, I did this 2 years ago, and I did it again this October, and I realize again that talking to people is really, really essential. Knocking on their doors, introducing myself again, because a lot of people, they said, "Oh, I thought you were the other guy," things like that. That helps to restore one's humility and feeling of humbleness. But it is an educational process, and it's an essential part of how things get done in this city. Is to go out and just listen and ask people what's on their minds. It's just extremely important. I couldn't have done this without, and this probably should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, without the encouragement and support of a lot of people. So right now is the time to name names. And I want to name people who I think really gave me encouragement and much support that I needed. James and Anna DeLuigi, Terrell and Bernice North, Mark Wurzbacher, Roger Van Zee, Valeska Hilbig and her husband Tom Husenga, Catherine Dibble, Jack Carson, Melanie Fosnaught, Sari Mott, former council member Josh Wright, former council member Reuben Snipper, Mayor Bruce Williams and Jeff Burkhart, Tom Hucker and Valerie Irvin, an old friend Lana Kennedy, and my family, particularly Nancy's daughter, our daughter, Denise Richards, who put together, without really knowing how, my very first website. Makes me feel so grown up. She did a wonderful job, and I really appreciate that very much. And to my wife, Nancy, who was my campaign manager and gave new meaning to the word manager, because she would say, "Don't you think you shouldn't be sitting at your computer doing emails? Don't you think you ought to be out on the street knocking on doors?" And I'd say, "You're right, darn it," because it's so much easier to send emails than it is to actually go out and do the work of democracy. And she was just on me because she knows what's best. And that's true, sweetheart. I'm going to say this publicly, and now you know, I confess, that you really helped me, and thank you so very much. And I appreciate the moral support that I got from so many other people who aren't here, who just gave me encouragement. The little words and nuances of that nature really do make a huge difference when you're not sure of how it's going and what the outcome is going to be. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Siemens.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm really honored to be back on the council for another 2 years. It's really responsibility that we have to make decisions not only for our ward but for the whole city. And I'm glad that my constituents have asked me to do this and represent them again. Again, I would like to thank some of the people who helped me to be back here again, most especially, of course, my wife, Joyce, who is my inspiration and offers me the encouragement and all those other things that make us both be here. I may sit in a seat, but as you all know, Joyce is part of the act. I also want to thank my campaign manager, Tababu, who's here tonight, Tababu Asefa. I really appreciate the assistance and guidance you give me, and I also value your friendship. I thank you for that. I can't go down this way through everybody in the ward because so many of them helped me. I want to thank Pat Lovelace, the peace delegate, for his ongoing support and for being here and really caring about the city and coming to the council meetings. And I hope that more and more people will be coming to the council meetings every year. Gladys Harvey, I want to thank you too for your help during this election and the support you give me throughout our life. Norman Ridgway, who's not here with us tonight, but everybody knows he's a backbone of my community work, and so I want to thank him. And rather than go on through all the different people who do hold my hand as we go down this journey, I'd just like to thank the people of Ward 4 for their support and their work to help each other to gain a higher level of quality of life here in the ward. I look forward now to this council sitting down at some point and talking about what our campaign platforms were and what we're all hoping to do during these next 2 years so that we can all help each other be successful in meeting those goals. And then lastly, I'd just like to welcome Councilmember Grimes, Councilmember Mayo, and Councilmember Daniels-Cohen. I look forward to working with all three of you and of course, Fred and Ruben and Bruce. Thank you.
And I just want to take a moment to thank all of the residents of Tacoma Park who make this community such a wonderful place. Not only the residents, but the business owners and so many people who work here. I get to deal with a lot of the institutions in the city, and there are literally thousands of people who work in the city. And they make this a special place as well. But I do want to give some special recognition to a few people and a few groups. And the person who's most special in my heart is my spouse, Jeff Burkhart. He never complains when I head out the door. He just says, "What time do you think you'll be back?" And I always underestimate it. And he goes, "Okay," knowing that I won't be back then. It'll take longer. And he does so many things to support me so that I can spend the time to do the best job that I know how as mayor of this city. And I really am honored to be able to do it again. And part of what makes this job really enjoyable, I've found, is the opportunity that I've had to go and visit with the kids in this city. And I see some of the kids from Troop 33 here tonight, and I have had the recent honor, as I said earlier, to go to that Eagle Scout ceremony, and it reconnected me with a little piece of my past that I had kind of left behind for decades, which was that I was a Boy Scout. And it recalled for me some of the special memories I have of being a Scout and working with other kids and adults in my community and taking on a number of special projects and getting to really understand how community works and how to work with other people. So I look forward to other opportunities to reconnect with Troop 33, which I think has been here for 90-some years, 91 years. I've also gotten to go to Rolling Terrace Elementary and Tacoma Park Elementary and Piney Branch Elementary and Tacoma Middle. I haven't been to Blair High School, but I'll get there too. And it's been a real honor and privilege to meet so many of the young people in this community and find out how interesting and how special they are. I get to go and talk to kids about what it's like to be the mayor and the fascinating questions they come up with that I never dreamed that somebody would ask me. And sometimes they're really tough to answer. But it just shows me how valuable it is to try and connect with as many of the children in this community as I can, because they're inquisitive, they want to know, and they will grow up to be the Tacoma Park residents of tomorrow, and we really have to invest in our children. And I get to see that in this job more than I ever dreamed, and that's really special to me. I also want to thank my predecessors as mayor. Kathy Porter is here tonight. She served for 10 years as mayor. I learned many things from Kathy. Served with her for 14 years, and that was an honor and a privilege. I served with former Mayor Ed Sharp for 4 years, and he's a friend to this day. I work with him on the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, the summer college-age wooden bat baseball team, and so I count it as a real privilege to be able to continue to work with Ed. And I also got to work a little bit with former Mayor Steve DelGiudice. And he's still around. I still see him from time to time. And we sometimes talk about Tacoma Park and what a special place it is. And I really like to remember that our history didn't begin yesterday. It didn't begin last week. It didn't begin last year. Our history began a long time ago. And we have to remember the lessons of history, because if we forget them, we'll just have to go through some of the same issues and the same problems. We may have to go through them anyway, but what we can learn from those who came before us can inform a better decision for all of us. And so I look forward to continuing to serve my community, and I look forward to serving with all of my colleagues on this council. And let's do it. We have one final thing before we adjourn, and we have a special session, and we have 3 resolutions, each one recognizing our former colleagues, and we'll take them in order, and I'd like to read the resolution, and then somebody can move and second it, we'll vote on it, and then I'll present the resolution and a token of our esteem and gratitude to our former colleagues. So we'll take them in order, and the first one is Ward 1, former council member Josh Wright. Whereas Josh Wright was elected to the City Council to represent Ward 1 on November 6, 2007, and took office on November 19, 2007, and whereas Councilmember Wright was re-elected on November 3, 2009, and whereas during his 2 terms on the City Council, Councilmember Wright was a tireless advocate for residents of Ward 1, And whereas in addition to his work on behalf of Ward 1 residents, Councilmember Wright made significant contributions to the City Council's deliberations of broad policy matters. And whereas during his tenure on the City Council, Councilmember Wright showed a keen interest in the protection of civil liberties, the rights of non-citizen residents of Tacoma Park, and environmental sustainability. And whereas Councilmember Wright was a strong voice on behalf of his constituents regarding development around the Tacoma Metro and the expansion of Montgomery College, and whereas Councilmember Wright did not seek re-election in the fall of 2011 and left office today, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Tacoma Park hereby recognizes the contributions that Councilmember Josh Wright made to the City of Tacoma Park during his tenure on the Tacoma Park City Council. Would somebody like to move the resolution?
I have the honor of moving the resolution.
Councilmember Grimes. Councilmember Schultz seconded. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
I won't ask for opposed. There won't be any. And so, former Councilmember Wright, if you'd like to come up here. Clock with a nice little inscription at the bottom, and that's to remember your time with us. Next up is a resolution thanking Ward 2 City Councilmember Colleen Clay for her service to the Tacoma Park community. Whereas Colleen Clay was first elected to the City Council to represent Ward 2 on November 8th, 2005, and whereas she took office on November 21st, 2005, I was looking over here for you, and you're over there. So that was exactly 6 years ago. And whereas Ms. Clay was re-elected on November 6th, 2007 and November 3rd, 2009, and whereas during her 3 terms on the City Council, Colleen Clay was a vigorous advocate for residents of Ward 2, and whereas in addition to her work on behalf of Ward 2 residents, Councilmember Clay made significant contributions to the City Council's deliberations of broad policy matters, and whereas during her tenure on the City Council, Councilmember Clay showed a keen interest in planning and zoning matters, environmental sustainability, and recreation programming. And whereas Councilmember Clay was a strong advocate for the rights of the disabled and the importance of accessibility in building a community. And whereas Councilmember Clay was a proponent of tenants' rights, working diligently for enactment of a retaliatory eviction law. And whereas Councilmember Clay did not seek re-election in the fall of 2011 and left office today, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Tacoma Park, Maryland hereby recognizes the contributions that Councilmember Colleen Clay made to the City of Tacoma Park during her tenure on the Tacoma Park City Council. Somebody want to move that?
So moved, yes.
Second? Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Mayle, second by Councilmember Siemens. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. That passes unanimously. Colleen?
The red boots are nice.
She's usually sitting behind the dais and people can't see.
Your phone and the correct one.
Yeah, I get a cool clock. Awesome. Very pretty, thank
And
you.
the best to put home.
Yes, I do.
Remember us all.
I won't ever forget it.
our final piece of business for the evening, a resolution thanking Ward 3 City Council Member Dan Robinson for his service to the Tacoma Park community. You'll recognize a couple of these beginning whereases. Whereas Dan Robinson was elected to the City Council to represent Ward 3 on November 6, 2007, and took office on November 19, 2007. And whereas Councilmember Robinson was re-elected on November 3, 2009, and during his tenure on the City Council, Mr. Robinson was a diligent advocate for Ward 3 residents, and in addition to his work on behalf of Ward 3 residents, Councilmember Robinson made significant contributions to the City Council's deliberations of broad policy matters. And whereas during his tenure on the City Council, Councilmember Robinson showed a keen interest in environmental sustainability and small business development, willingly sharing his own experience as a business owner and developer. And whereas Councilmember Robinson championed issues related to the long-term financial viability of the city, including a fairer system of tax duplication payments and the impact of employee pension obligations. And whereas Councilmember Robinson was a strong voice for the value of municipal government. Whereas Councilmember Robinson did not seek re-election in the fall of 2011 and left office on today, November 21st. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Tacoma Park, Maryland hereby recognizes the contributions that Councilmember Dan Robinson made to the City of Tacoma Park during his tenure on the Tacoma Park City Council.
I move the acceptance of the proclamation.
It's a resolution.
Resolution.
And a second?
Accepted.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Daniels Cohen, second by Councilmember Siemens. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Dan?
Do you have anything for Dan?
I do.
Get the clock, too? It's an anchor.
We're adjourned.
You don't have to be nice to each other anymore.